Hi everyone, you are listening. One Story YouTube. What happens when one of the most powerful men in the world meets a woman who never imagined her life would become part of American history? Before the White House, before the political battles, before the cameras followed their every move, there was simply a man, a woman, and a meeting that neither of them knew would change their lives forever. Donald Trump was already a famous billionaire and one of New York's most recognizable personalities. Melania was a young model who had come to New York from Slovenia, carrying dreams of building a career in fashion. They came from completely different worlds. But sometimes love doesn't ask where you're from. Sometimes it simply asks one question: what happens if you meet the right person at the right moment? This is the story of Donald and Melania Trump, a relationship filled with glamour, distance, public pressure, family moments, controversy, and a life that eventually took them to the most famous residence in America. Chapter 1: Two Different Worlds. Before she became Melania Trump, she was Melania Knavs, born in Slovenia in 1970. She grew up in a modest environment and developed an interest in fashion at a young age. Eventually, she pursued modeling and began traveling internationally. Then came New York. New York was a completely different world. Bright lights, fashion shows, ambition, competition. And somewhere in that enormous city was Donald Trump. By the late 1990s, Trump was already a household name. He was a businessman, real estate developer, television personality, and one of New York's most famous figures. He had wealth, fame, and a larger-than-life personality. Melania had youth, ambition, and a dream. And in 1998, their paths crossed. Chapter 2. The night they met, their first meeting happened at a fashion industry event in New York in September 1998. Trump attended the event with another woman. Melania was there as a model. According to Melania, Trump approached her and asked for her phone number, but she didn't immediately give it to him. Instead, she asked for his number. It was a small moment, but sometimes the smallest moments become the beginning of the biggest chapters in our lives. Eventually, they began dating. The relationship attracted attention almost immediately. Why? Because Donald Trump was already famous, and Melania was a beautiful young model beginning to establish herself in New York. People wanted to know, was this real love or simply another glamorous celebrity relationship? Only time could answer that question. Chapter 3: Love Under the Spotlight. Dating Donald Trump meant dating under a microscope. Every appearance could become a headline. Every photograph could become a story. Every public gesture could be analyzed. But Melania continued building her own career while their relationship developed. Their romance wasn't happening in a quiet corner of the world. It was happening in New York, a city where everyone seemed to be watching, and yet the relationship continued. In 2004, Trump proposed to Melania. The following year, in January 2005, they were married in a lavish ceremony in Palm Beach, Florida. It was an extraordinary wedding attended by celebrities and famous personalities. The couple appeared to have entered a new chapter. But marriage would bring something neither fame nor money could completely protect them from: the pressure of living life in public. Chapter 4: The Birth of Barron. In March 2006, Donald and Melania welcomed their son, Barron Trump. For Melania, motherhood became an important part of her life. She later described herself as a hands-on mother and spent significant time raising Barron. The family became a new center of their lives, but their world was about to change again, because Donald Trump was moving towards something much bigger than business. He was entering politics, and that decision would transform not only his career, but the entire Trump family. Chapter 5: The White House. Years in 2015, Donald Trump announced his campaign for President of the United States. The campaign became one of the most dramatic and controversial political stories in modern American history. In 2016, Trump won the presidential election. Suddenly, Melania wasn't simply the wife of a businessman. She was going to become the First Lady of the United States. The move from private life to public life came with enormous pressure. Millions of people were watching. Millions had opinions. Every speech, every outfit, every expression, every public appearance could become news. For Melania, the transition was not always easy. She had to adapt to a completely different role while raising Barron. In 2017, she officially became First Lady when Donald Trump was inaugurated as president. And the woman who had once arrived in New York as a young model was now standing inside the White House. Think about that journey. From Slovenia to New York to the White House, a life she could hardly have imagined when she first arrived in America. Chapter 6, When Love Meets Pressure. But behind the photographs and ceremonies was another reality. Marriage becomes different when the entire world is watching. Donald Trump's presidency was surrounded by intense political conflict. There were arguments in the media, there were controversies, there were attacks from political opponents, and the Trump family frequently found itself at the center of public attention. Through all of this, Melania maintained a relatively private personality. She rarely revealed everything about her personal life, and perhaps that privacy became one of the most interesting parts of her public image. She didn't always explain what she was thinking. She didn't always respond to every rumor. Sometimes silence became her answer, and that taught the world something important. Not every emotion needs to be explained to everyone. Chapter 7. The moments the cameras didn't show the public sees photographs, but photographs don't tell the whole story of a marriage. They don't show private conversations. They don't show difficult nights. They don't show moments of laughter inside a home. They don't show parents worrying about their child. They don't show two people trying to maintain a family while millions of strangers judge them. Donald and Melania's relationship has been discussed and criticized extensively in the media. There have also been rumors and speculation about their marriage. But the couple has remained together, and perhaps that is one of the most interesting parts of their story. Their relationship has survived years of political pressure, constant media attention, and enormous public scrutiny. Chapter 8, a second chapter. After Donald Trump left the White House in January 2021, the family entered another chapter. Their lives became somewhat more private, but politics wasn't finished with Donald Trump. In 2024, Trump won another presidential election and returned to the White House in January 2025. Melania once again became First Lady. Imagine the journey. A young woman from Slovenia, a modeling career, a meeting in New York, a marriage, motherhood, the White House, life after the presidency, and then another return to the White House. It is a story filled with extraordinary turns. The emotional lesson. The story of Donald and Melania Trump isn't a perfect fairy tale. It isn't a story without controversy. It isn't a relationship that everyone understands in the same way. But perhaps real relationships aren't fairy tales. Real relationships are complicated. They have beautiful moments. They have difficult moments. They have silence. They have disagreements. They have moments when two people must decide whether they will continue walking together. And after more than 2 decades together, Donald and Melania remain husband and wife. Their story reminds us that love doesn't always look like a movie. Sometimes love is simply two people continuing to build a life together while the world watches. Conclusion, 7:30 to 8. From a young model arriving in New York, to becoming the wife of a businessman, to becoming the First Lady of the United States, Melania Trump's life changed dramatically after meeting Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, already a famous businessman, built a family life alongside her while his own life transformed from business and television into the highest levels of American politics. Their journey has had glamour, pressure, success, controversy, family, and countless moments under the world's spotlight. But perhaps the most powerful part of their story is this. The world saw the headlines, the world saw the photographs, but only Donald and Melania know the complete story of the life they built together. Because sometimes the deepest chapters of a love story are the ones the world never gets to see. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more powerful love stories from history, celebrities, and the world's most fascinating couples.